Hi everybody and welcome to the midweek market update from Smack the Markets for the 30th of May. Now, so far this week, already being a shorter week for European traders, we've already had some very strong moves from many markets. The US Dow has continued to tumble and the US dollar has continued to strengthen, and that supported a number of trends. However, in the sort of past 24 hours or so, some of those markets have started to weaken off. So let's go and take a look at how the markets are starting to fare that we discussed on Tuesday of this week. So first of all, if we come and have a look at the Dow future here, we were looking at the market around the sort of, well, it was just above the sort of 500 area. And we're looking at really this area being a bit of a decision point, although the sort of signs were really on the doors that this market was heading to a sort of a deeper retracement. That's sort of swiftly happened now as the market's sort of taken out the sort of key levels that we discussed at 25,500 and also the 25,000 level. Now, the market now hit 25,000 yesterday. So at the moment, we just had a bit of a bounce off the 25,500, but it's sort of contained between two structure levels that we have here, 25,000 and 25,000 sort of 220. The trend is clearly to the short side at the moment, and sort of pressure on this market is clearly for a deeper retracement. If we take a look at this on the weekly, you can see that on the weekly, this 25,500 really was sort of key support, and underneath that, there's is sort of indicating a sort of deeper retracement in times ahead. So our bias on this market now is clearly for moves to the short side. So we're looking for shorting retracements. We have opportunities as the market sort of pulls back into significant levels, and some of these intraday trends now are starting to form clearer geometry to the shorter side. As far as sort of trading target levels are concerned for the Dow, we have the next level underneath 25,000 is around sort of around sort of toward 2470, I should say. And sort of underneath that, we're sort of looking around that sort of 250 area as well. So significant size windows of opportunity underneath price as it sort of breaks those levels. We also then looked at platinum on Tuesday this week. The market was back up here on the 4-hour time frame. We were looking for a sort of a fairly sort of quick move back down towards that 800 level, which the market sort of has already now achieved. And in fact, it's sort of just poked its nose underneath that sort of price point at the moment. As with a lot of these metals and precious metal markets, they're all looking rather weak at the moment. I think sort of platinum, we've had the sort of quick move on it. There is another level here that the market's sort of coming up against, and really what I would like to see personally is a opportunity underneath that rather than looking at trading opportunities above it. So coming in and having a look at some of these others, I think that copper looks a little bit more interesting. Now, copper, as indeed like platinum, there are significant levels on this market that price is coming up against. You can see that copper on the weekly chart underneath the sort of support areas where the market is at the moment, there is significant free space to the downside. If we come and have a look at this on the daily chart, you can see that the market's just sort of broken underneath the sort of 2650 area, whereas an area where the market sort of found support before. And if that sort of continues, we could start to see sort of a move down towards sort of the next areas of previous support, and that sort of gets us down towards, well, just above that 26,000 level. So that's quite a distance to the short side. So for me, I'd be looking at opportunities on copper rather than sort of platinum now going forward, and seeing if we can get continued weakness and sort of filling that sort of trading void there. Now, when we come to the currency markets, we looked at opportunities on EURUSD. Now, this was on the daily chart, and what we were looking for was opportunities here above the 154 level. Now, we can see that what's happened is the market continued to move above 154, but then couldn't hold it. And in fact, we never had a signal, and the market's now sort of rolled underneath underneath that level. Underneath that level is not an area where I'm sort of interested in trading at the moment, because the whole reason for the trade was to trade the context of this strong trend and this strong market. And now this is starting to look like we've got some weakness coming in. So other markets here that we could start to look at would be sort of dollar related markets. We've the US dollar has continued to strengthen. In fact, that's at sort of multi-month highs at the moment. So if we come and have a look at dollar CAD here on the weekly, we can see more recently this week has broken through, or sort of pushed to new highs, more recent highs, I should say. There's been a level through here at 135 that the market sort of tested multiple times before. It's been consolidating and pushing higher over these sort of past few weeks and months, and recently this week so far the market has now managed to sort of break above the previous sort of highs for the previous sort of several months here. So this is now a sort of a nice decisive sort of breakout here, and even if we're starting to look for moves up here towards the more sort of recent high here, that's around sort of 136.5, that's still a very sort of decent move on lower time frames. So we can see that on the daily chart, we can see this sort of recent consolidation that dollar CAD has recently sort of broken out of here. And now, as the market sort of pushed to the long side, we're looking for sort of retracements. We're looking sort of for value areas to be able to sort of get positioned and take advantage of longer and higher prices. There's also some interesting sort of levels if we come down to the likes of 4-hour time frames, because even if we start to mark in the higher end of this sort of consolidation, you can see that that sort of clusters at the moment with our level around 135. It also sort of clusters with the sort of pullback where the market's starting to pull back into at this moment in time. Also here on the 4-hour time frame, we've started to get a bit of evidence of a sort of reasonable trend structure forming, with sort of moving averages opening up, sort of higher highs and higher lows from the low down here, and also we have some convergence on the indicators as well, indicating that there is momentum to the long side. So again, above this area, above 135 is the sort of area and the sort of level really that we're looking for opportunities long on dollar CAD. So there's a few markets there that we're keeping a close eye on in the trading room over the next sort of few trading sessions. I certainly hope it helps, and we look forward to speaking to you next week. Bye for now.